Hello and welcome to part 3 of this video. So we're on to Shadow and then Blood. I did take a quick look. And then we have some interesting stuff with Haven, Portal and Neutral straight after that. So we will put all those 3 in one video because I don't want to have just a single video looking at one class in particular. I really want to make sure I round out pretty much at least 2 to 3 in the entire thing. So first off, this is the Shadowcraft Legendary Hinterland School, 7-drop, 6/5, yep, sweet art, Lich kind of style, I don't mind that too much. Fanfare, put 10 skeletons into your hand at the end of your turn and deal 6 damage to all enemies if you have at least 30 shadows. 30 shadows is a little hard to reach, but the skeletons will make up for that slightly, while at the same time giving you a lot of fodder. So I think this one has some interesting potential, but at the same time is a bit weaker than something like PTP, which is much more interesting. Then we have Serdwin Eternity Hunter, 6-drop, 4/5. This one is Fanfare. Choose, put either an internal potion or an instant potion into your hand. Whenever the follower attacks, recover 1 play point. So the internal potion is Reanimate 10, which is sweet because it does open up awesome combos with big cards, and always like seeing that. And instant potion is deal 2 damage to the enemy follower, and Burial Rite, deal 5 damage instead. So I don't mind that too much either because it gives you synergy for both archetypes and works out really nicely. So a really interesting one at that. Then we have the 7-drop Fickle Resurrector, the 5/5 gold. If you have at least 6 shadows, Fanfare, Necromancy 6, choose summon either a Spellplate Cavalier or Bone Cavalier. So Spellplate Cavalier is a 4-drop 2/4 ward, and the Bone Cavalier is a 4-drop 3/3 drain. This presents some interesting stuff with drain and wards, and again allows you to go pretty versatile with the choose effect, and that's what I love about it. The evolve will also evolve all allied Spellplate Cavaliers and Bone Cavaliers, which is awesome. Then we have the Everdark Strix, a 3-drop 3/2, which is not a great stat line to begin with, but its effect hopefully makes up for that. Fanfare, Burial Rite, put a random shadow follower from your deck into your hand. Whenever you perform Burial Rite, restore 1 defense to your leader. So destroy something, heal, and put a random Shadowcraft follower from your deck in your hand. Not bad. Then we have the 4-drop 4/3 Mighty Arm Skeleton. So if you have at least 8 play points, choose place card as either Giant Skull or Hell Lord Skeleton. Giant Skull is a 8-drop 6/5 of course, and ward, last word, summon 2 skeletons. And the Hell Lord Skeleton is a drop 6/5, Fanfare, deal 3 damage to an enemy. So the deal 3 damage to an enemy is nice because it can open up some lethal potential, and that's what I like to see from my cards. Then we have a Big Soul Hunter, a 3-drop 2/3, Fanfare, Enhance 6. Destroy a random enemy follower with at least 5 attack. So destroying a random enemy follower with at least 5 attack is always a good thing, especially at Necromancy cost 6, makes it a bit rough, but I think with its stat line and with what it does, I think this card could see some okay play in certain style decks. Then we have a 3-drop spell, Poltergeist. Summon 2 ghosts, Fanfare. All allied followers in play will be destroyed instead of being banished. Don't mind that too much at all. I mean, if you are playing a ghost deck, this has some really good potential to swarm with ghosts early and then enhance 4 for everything gaining the will be destroyed instead of banished, which could be really nice. Then the 5-drop 4/4 Death of Necrophile is pretty cool looking, but he is only a Bane last word, gain 1 shadow, so not really a crazy bronze. Kind of sad about that one. A 2-drop 1/1 is our next one with Altar of the Bones. Last word, summon a skeleton. So summoning a skeleton, pretty okay. Stat line is basically split up pretty nicely, and last word summons are always good. Then we have the 2-drop Regenerate Spirit. So this is Reanimate 3, Enhance 8, Reanimate 5. So the way this card works, I can't imagine I've covered this one or not, but if I did, I'm pretty sure I would have mentioned that Reanimate 3 will activate first, then Enhance 8 will also trigger Reanimate 5. So it's not you're going to reanimate 8, you're actually going to reanimate a 3 or lower drop and a 5 or lower drop, which is actually pretty good when you think about it. You're getting 2 bodies from 1 card and reanimating some pretty good valued cards if you get them out early enough to use. Then you have Mischievous Spirit, a 1-drop 1/1 Fanfare, Necromancy 3, summon a ghost. Again, ghost support, I personally don't like it much. Then onto the Blood cards. This is probably one of my favorite cards for all of the expansion just because it has a pretty insane looking effect, and honestly I do like a lot of the cards and I think a lot of them are good, but I definitely have my pick of favorites, and this is definitely one of them. So a 7-drop 5/5 legendary not too bad considering, but its effect is what really makes up for it. Fanfare, deal X damage to an enemy. X equals the number of times that your leader was damaged during your turn in this match. So during your turn, damage is harder than damage in general, of course, but considering how many damaging cards there are and how many self-damaging cards there are, with a little tweaking, this thing could have some great potential, especially as a 2-turn OTK lethal. You could very easily set this thing up, play it out, get the damage, and go nuts with it. If only Bahamut was still as low as it used to be, this thing would be absolutely nuts. Then, of course, we have Vania, Nightshade Vampire. I covered this as one of the first card reveals, so most of you should know what it does, but if you don't, this is the video for you, of course. So, if you have at least 6 play points and Vengeance is active for you, play this card as either a Kind Queen Vania or a Blood Queen Vania. Fanfare, deal 2 damage to both leaders, then summon a Forest Bat. I love the Forest Bat summon stuff, it's always great. Anyway, Kind Queen Vania is a 6-drop, 3/6 of course, and it has Drain. Fanfare, summon a Forest Bat. Whenever an allied Forest Bat comes into play, give it Ward. And Blood Queen Vampire is Storm, which is awesome because this is going to be where aggro blood comes in handy. 6-drop, 3/6 Storm. Fanfare, summon a Forest Bat. Whenever an allied Forest Bat comes in play, give it Bane, which is nice because that will automatically counter things. So really love that card for aggro bats. 5-drop, 1/4 gold. Old Blood King is super interesting. Ambush, whenever an allied Forest Bat comes into play, give it +1 and Storm until the end of turn. Being a 5-drop and giving that to Forest Bats, play this on 5, set it up as your ambush, play Vania on 6, set up your Forest Bat and extra damage, especially with Bane. This thing is where aggro blood is going to be absolutely massive, I think. Of course, that could really get shot down, which would be sad, but I think aggro blood just has so many good cards in this expansion. Then Gift of Bloodkin, another really good one, a 0-drop spell, one of the few 0-drop spells we actually have in the entire game. Deal 1 damage to both leaders, summon a Forest Bat for both leaders. Good, I love this. Deal 1 damage to both leaders works well with the bat because it's in your turn. Getting a Forest Bat for both leaders is also quite good, especially if comboed with other cards. It has a lot of potential and could do a lot of damage. And with the Storm card, again, it's another way for you to get more damage. So I love free cards like this, and this thing has some great value. Then we have a 2-drop 2/2 Silver Chain Disciple. Fanfare, deal 1 damage to both leaders and deal 2 damage to a random enemy follower if Vengeance is active. So another card that is great for dealing self-damage and has a good upside Vengeance effect. Really like that one too. Then we have Bullia Blood Maiden, a 1-drop 1/1. If you have at least 5 play points, place a card as either Bulla Saintly Maiden or Bulla Dark Maiden. So Saintly Maiden, pretty cute. Fanfare, Ward, restore 2 defense to your leader. Pretty solid, I actually like that as a defensive card. And then the 5 is a Fanfare, give +1/+1 to all other allied followers, which is a nice buff card and could go really well with any kind of storm damage you've already set up. So again, we can use these cards really versatilely with both healing and damage, and that's what I love about some of these choose cards. Then we have 1-drop red Talon Strike, probably my least favorite art, honestly. I just don't enjoy this one, but give an allied follower +1 until the end of your turn, summon a Forest Bat if it's a Bloodcraft follower. Great synergy with more bats. Love bat synergy. Basically, this whole expansion is going to be pushing that kind of aggro bat synergy really hard by the looks of it. Then we have the 9-drop 7/7 Bronze Calamity Archdemon. Fanfare, deal 4 damage to both leaders. Again, just more kind of damaging cards, and I don't think this is that great because its stats are way too high. A 9-drop 7/7 is good, I mean, for stats, but it's really weak when you consider its Fanfare is super late. I don't think you're going to see this card see play. Then, of course, Delirious Demon, 5-drop 4/5. Whenever this follower attacks, deal 1 damage to all enemy followers, and your leader. So all enemy followers and your leader. Supports the Blood Archetype of dealing damage to yourself. Enhance 7, gain +0/+1, and deal 1 additional damage to all enemy followers and your leader whenever this follower attacks. So, works well as a board clear for 7, and works well as a 5-drop in general. I think this card is solid. I don't think it's OP, but it's definitely a good card. Then we have the 3-drop 1/1 Nightmare Devil. Fanfare and Last Word, summon a Forest Bat. More Forest Bat support. I mean, by this point, you know, it's great. Now, this is the one that's super interesting. Summon Bloodkin reprint. This card is legal in rotation to my knowledge because it is actually classed as a new card from this set, although it is a direct reprint with the exact same name, similar to the leader cards, except the leader cards are actually classed from being from previous sets, where this one is classed from being from the newest set and usable. So, really keeps things fresh and interesting when you see a reprint like this. But with all the Forest Bat support, it's not surprising that we did get it. Then we have the Havencraft cards, which we will go into in the next video. We'll be covering Haven, Portal, and Neutral all in one video. Look out for that big one. That's going to be the big final conclusion to all of this and what I think of the expansion so far. Of course, we are going to have those cards come out in May, which is a fair way off, and we'll look at that then. But for what we're going to get for the expansion in a few days, absolutely massive. So make sure to stay tuned and check out the next video very soon.